Hey everybody, it's Moonbo here, and welcome back to more Endless Scrap Mechanic. In today's episode of Scrap Mechanic Creations, we're going to be checking out the completed drag race cars that were started during a live stream. Now guys, if you were at the live stream, let me know down in the comments what did you think of it. I always love getting feedback. Now, as you can see, we've got two dragsters. We've got one on the left of the screen there. That is the one that we're going to be racing in, and then there is a second one on the right there, and that is going to be known as the Shadow. Now, the reason why we're going to call it the Shadow is because it is going to mimic everything that we do in our drag race car. So basically, we're going to have something that we're going to race against. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out both of these drag race cars. We're going to see how the Shadow works, and of course, we're going to get some racing in. And then after all that, we're going to add a starter tree to this racetrack, and we're going to make the Shadow run off of that instead of our own control, so that way it can race out of its own free will, and we'll actually get a little bit of competition here. So let's check it out. Alright, so to start off, I just want to mention that I am so happy with the way these cars turned out. They look absolutely fantastic, and their abilities to drive down the track are really good as well. Now, I do have some wing mod stuff loaded in, so you can see we have a front spoiler here, as well as the large spoiler in the back. Now, these are all wing mod parts. Now, I don't know exactly how much of an effect they do have. I have adjusted some of the angles and stuff like that. As you can see, we've got bearings hooked up to controllers on the front and the back here as well. So that way, you can adjust the wings if you want to and see what kind of results that you get while racing down the track. Now, some more features other than the wing mod spoilers. We do have modded wheels on the back here. Look how giant they are, as well as modded wheels on the front. Now, I guess these wheels actually have increased traction compared to the vanilla wheels that you would find in Scrap Mechanic, so that might help quite a bit when racing down these tracks at high speeds. Now, as you can see here, we've got the wheelie bar just in case. Now, this is really cool. This comes with the wing mod. So this is the drogue chute. So this is like a parachute that will deploy from this little box here. As you can see, we have two of them, and that will just help decelerate, even though you don't actually need it, because these things pretty much stop on a dime with the gas motor. But nonetheless, those things look really cool, so we'll be checking that out real soon. We have this awesome engine that I had to build, actually, because I just couldn't use the modded engine parts, and it's kind of cool. We got some spinning fans here that we'll be turning on in a moment. And now, sitting inside of the driver's seat, I love the first-person view here. You have a great view all the way around. There's no obstructions or anything like that. You can see your opponent racing you on the side there as well, and you can even actually see our wheels turning up ahead. Now, speaking of these wheels turning up here, you can see that these are all actually controllers. So I'm actually using an A and D converter on these front wheels here, and the reason for that is because the actual steering that you would get from connecting a driver's seat to one of these bearings is way too much. So by attaching them to a controller and adding the A and D converter, we can actually go to like this controller right here, and we can get very detailed steering angles. So that way, if you wanted to get 7 degrees like we have right here, that's what you can get. You can increase it, you can decrease it based off of your preference. Now, I find 7 is pretty good. You don't turn too far left or right too fast. So that's pretty much all of the features that the car itself has. There are other features that I put into it, and that was so that we could actually have the Shadow race us. And we'll be looking at that in a moment, because first, guys, I really just wanted to get a few laps in so we can see this thing in action. We're going to race the Shadow. It's going to be loads of fun, so let's check it out. Alright, so here it is, me versus the Shadow in 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, look at that. The Shadow has got a pretty good start. Looks like he's fading away. Oh no, he's kind of slowly going into the wall. Is he going to make it? No, he's riding the wall now. We're slowly making our way to the wall as well, but look at that. We barely made it ahead of him, and check this out, guys. It's pretty cool, actually. We can, like, reverse, go forward, and look at that. This Shadow is actually pretty good at following us. But let's turn these around and head in the other direction. Alright, here we go. It's time for round 2. I totally forgot to use the parachutes in the last one there, so I'm going to remember to do that this time. But here we go, guys, in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Alright, looks like we're kicking up ahead of the Shadow just a little bit. We're actually veering to the right. I'm going to steer back in. Oh my god, that was actually really close, and he's starting to veer. Let's set the chutes out. Oh, jeez. Okay, you know what? There's not really a lot of room at the end of these tracks. Alright, so if you guys do get this off of the Steam Workshop, because there will be a link in the description, and you want to reset these parachutes, you just have to put the creation back on a lift and off again, and then you go over to the actual chute itself, and you hit your use button, and look at that, guys. the parachutes retract just like that. Alright, so we're going to do this one more time. I'm going to open my parachutes at the appropriate moment as well. And then after that, we're going to take a look at the shadow car, how that works. And then we'll move on to the tree and getting the shadow car to run on its own. So here we go, guys. One last time in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Oh, man, there is so much speed. You get from one end to the other really fast. Alright, so here it is. It's coming up. Very soon, we're like neck and neck, obviously. Let's release the chutes now. There it is, and we are just going to come to a stop just like that. Alright, so checking out how the shadow car works now, we're going to crack open the front of these vehicles by removing these polygons right here and right here. So there you go. Now we can see inside of the vehicle. So what's going on here, obviously, is this one here is the primary car that is sending the signals, and then the shadow car obviously is the one that's receiving the signals. So right here you can see I have a W and S converter, so I needed to use that in order to be able to send the signal through logic. And then right here, guys, you can see we have the wireless mod, so it's going to go into that wireless mod, and you can see that symbol right there. It's like a Wi-Fi symbol, and it's sending away from the source right here. Now if we go over to the shadow car, you can see the opposite is happening. You can see that the Wi-Fi symbol is going towards the dot now, and that is just receiving the signal. Now, I don't actually need this W and S on this shadow car. That is just an artifact from the original vehicle, because what's happening is, from the wireless mod here, it's going to these logic gates, and then those logic gates are essentially acting as my converter on this side here. So you can see that they would be wired up to the engine here. Now, what I did have to do, though, is I used W as the forward. Obviously, we're going to go forward with W and S to go backwards. Now, I couldn't run both of those signals through the motors just on their own, so I used this converter, and then the reverse is actually 2 thrusters right here. So if I actually just hop into the seat, you'll be able to see really quickly. If I reverse, you can see both of these vehicles are activating thrusters to reverse, and then W is our forward momentum, just like so. Now, there are some other functions that I could have added to this for the wireless mod. For example, on the original car, we have steering, but the shadow one doesn't, and I figured I don't need to adjust the shadow car's steering. He needs to worry about that himself. I'm going to worry about my own steering, so if I steer into a wall, that's not necessarily going to help or make it worse for the shadow car. So it didn't really matter in that fact, and I also decided not to add the parachutes, because the parachutes, let's be honest, they don't really do anything. They're more for show. It just looks really cool. Alright, so we're going to have a quick side-by-side race all the way to the other end, and then we're going to set up the starter tree that's going to trigger the shadow car to run on its own. So here we go, guys, in 3, 2, 1. Oh boy, we're right next to each other. Okay, you're turning into me, shadow car, please. You're wedging me out. I don't have any room left. Oh, jeez, we're going to make it. I'm riding the shadow car. Look at that, we made it. Alright guys, so now I'm going to build the starter tree that's going to send the signal to the shadow car to start driving, and then it's not going to listen to us anymore, and then it's going to be a little bit more of a race. So I'll see you guys real soon. Alright, so here is the finished starter tree. So what I got going on back here, though, is we have a switch that I'm going to activate, which starts a 10-second timer, and that's so I have enough time to get to my vehicle. And then after 10 seconds, it sends the signal all the way up to the top, and it's going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is going to activate these red and yellow lights. And then after 4 seconds, on the 5th one, it's going to complete, and then all of the green lights are going to activate. And what happens next is it's going to activate this logic block, which is wired to the wireless sending mod here, and then it's going to receive the signal on the shadow car, and it's going to start driving forward as soon as the lights turn green. Now, another thing I did add was a kill switch, because I realized once it activates the ghost car, there's nothing that's going to stop it. It's just going to keep on driving until it runs into something at the other end of the track. So I figured I'll give it 20 seconds, and then after 20 seconds, it's going to interrupt the entire logic sequence, turning it off and hopefully stopping it. But now, I don't even know if this is going to work at all, so let's test this thing out. Alright, so here we go, guys. It is time for test number 1 of the shadow car thinking for itself. So here we go. I'm going to activate the switch. I'm going to run to my vehicle just like so, and I guess we're just going to wait for the lights to go, and then once it's green, we're going to be hopefully racing the shadow car. So here we go. Red, red, yellow, 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 green, go! Look at that! It's taking off! It's driving on its own! This is not even a shadow car anymore, guys. This is moderately AI, but look at that! I can't beat that start. I just can't beat it at all. Now, I'm gonna stop, but I don't know about him. Alright, guys, so I've got this set up another time here, but you didn't think I had a little secret up my sleeve, did you? Because I had a feeling that the ghost car was gonna beat me right off the start every time. So, I prepared for that in advance. So let's get into our vehicle here. I've got the tree started up just like so, and you guys are gonna see a little bit of extra power coming out of this car right here. Alright, there it goes. Yellow, yellow, green, go! And here we go, guys. I may or may not have added boosters on this vehicle just to make sure that we actually did beat the computer. Oh god, there it goes. It's gone. Alright, so guys, I know why you're actually here. No doubt it's to see some awesome race car explosions, so that's what we're gonna do for a little bit. So we're gonna take off now. You know, we're just driving along, no problem, racing in this awesome drag car, and then next thing you know, we're actually veering off into the side. We hit over and wow, okay, the entire thing gets disintegrated. Alright, now this time we're driving along, racing real good, and before we know, oh my god, there's debris on the track already. We hit the debris, and next thing you know, this whole car is blown up. So we're lined up here. There is a suspicious chunk of car on the side of the track, but you know what? We end up racing anyway, and oh my god, we should have known better. There was even more chunks of car. Wow. Okay. Guys, I think that car is driving itself now. It's kind of like, you know, the new shadow car. So that's going to be the video for today, guys. Now, if you did enjoy these drag race cars or the video, then let me know by hitting that like button. And guys, if you want to sign up for more Endless Scrap Mechanic, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and maybe even turn on some notifications so you can get the latest and the craziest coming from me in Scrap Mechanic. So of course, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one, so bye for now.